My name is Fr Alexander Sherbrooke, and this is part of our series of dedications to Mary for the month of May. As part of our journey with Our Lady of Guadalupe, it's a great joy to have Mariana, who is a musical artist, is also from Mexico, who is going to sing the traditional hymn of devotion to Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Desde el cielo una hermosa mañana, desde el cielo una hermosa mañana, la guadalupana, la guadalupana, la guadalupana bajo al tepeyac, la guadalupana, la guadalupana, la guadalupana bajo al tepeyac.
We're here in the baptistry chapel at St. Patrick's with the image of Our Lady of Guadalupe, a precious form of devotion, a precious place of devotion in this church and many other churches. Our Lady of Guadalupe's story is extraordinary. The more that you read and study about it, you can see the wonderful workings of God through the Mother of God. Just a very brief history. Mexico, up to the year 1531, had been touched, invaded, colonized, if you like, by the Spanish. They had brought wealth, they had brought ingenuity with them, but they had singularly failed to evangelize, to bring people to baptism. Also, Mexico, over many years, had been the place of ritual sacrifice of children. Many hundreds of thousands of children were sacrificed in the most brutal way to appease the pagan gods. The year 1531, the 9th of December, a shepherd by the name of Juan Diego is walking around the mountain of Tepeyac, and there he meets a beautiful woman, seemingly from heaven, and she invites him to call up the bishop to build a church, to invite people to come here on pilgrimage, and she calls herself the Merciful Mother. Juan Diego, somewhat in awe of what he's been asked to do, goes to see the bishop, and initially he is refused. Once again, Juan Diego on the mountain of Tepeyac meets the Blessed Mother, and she says, "Take these flowers to the bishop." Subtly above him on the mountainside is a bush of roses, which he has not seen before. Remember that we are in the middle of winter. And he takes off his cloak, the tilma as it's called, he places it on the ground, and into that he places the roses that he cuts. He now returns to the bishop, and as he enters the presence of the bishop, he's somewhat manhandled, and the tilma that he has been carrying falls onto the ground and rolls out. It reveals, first of all, the roses, and then it reveals this most extraordinary image. What happens initially is that the bishop, who is from Castile in Spain, recognizes that these roses are not natural to Mexico. They are Castilian roses. Then all look at the tilma, and the tilma has an extraordinary story to tell. First of all, it is not painted in a conventional way. No scientific process or investigation has been able to prove the actual act of painting, somewhat similar to the Turin shroud. In addition to that, it has a whole iconography of devotion, of love, of the intervention of Mary. First of all, Mary is dressed very much in the colors and in the traditional style of the people of Mexico. She is an Aztec woman. Secondly, very remarkably, she has around her a belt, a black belt, which would signify that she is pregnant. Then on top of that, she is standing on what would be known as a moon god to the Aztec people, symbolizing the power of Satan, the power of darkness. And then underneath that is a young boy who is holding up the serpent, holding up Mary as she stands there. On the cloak of the Blessed Mother are flowers, which are traditionally Mexican flowers. In addition to that, there are the stars that speak of a constellation in the sky, which was seen at that time. What happens through this wonderful apparition is that the people in Mexico turn away almost immediately from human sacrifice. They give themselves to baptism, they come to Christ. And they now look to the beautiful woman of Mount Tepeyac as their mother, the mother who intercedes for them from heaven, the mother who is merciful, the mother who brings about light where there had been darkness, faith where there had been doubt, joy and love where there had been hatred and fear. St. John Paul II made Our Lady of Guadalupe the patroness of the Americas, also the patroness of the sanctity of life and the star of a new evangelization. So she stands here in St. Patrick's in Soho, very much signifying the mission of this parish, which is to call people to Christ, proclaim the gospel of life, and to invite people to know that true peace and true joy only comes from knowing Mary and through Mary to her Son. Our Lady of Guadalupe, pray for us.
Desde entonces para el mexicano, desde entonces para el mexicano, ser guadalupano, ser guadalupano, ser guadalupano es algo esencial. Ser guadalupano, ser guadalupano, ser guadalupano es algo esencial.